Do you want to know my favorite type of car review? It's the low pressure kind where what I say has zero influence over potential buyers.
That certainly holds true where the Geländewagen is concerned. This thing makes no sense, but G-Class lovers will buy it anyway based on pure emotion. Sensible purchasing advice holds no sway here.
And so, with zero stakes connected to my words, I'm free to burn down the next few minutes talking about whatever seems interesting.
Ooh, that looks interesting. This 12.3-inch instrument cluster costs $850, but it looks rad. And yes, we're going to use those price graphics quite a bit in this video. With a base MSRP of $125,495, including destination charges for the G550, there's no such thing as a cheap G-Class. A militaristic box on wheels with a 416 horsepower bi-turbo V8 would be plenty indulgent for most souls, but Mercedes has a knack for stringing buyers further up the decadence ladder, exemplified by the Mercedes-AMG G63 we're testing.
The G63 also features a 4-liter bi-turbo V8, but this one is much more powerful, is hand-built, and it sounds like this.
While producing these power figures, the G63's V8 makes a hearty ruckus. This little button makes the exhaust even louder. Fun fact, the side exhaust outlets project noise laterally towards adjacent bystanders and cars. If you're an attention getter, all the better.
Beyond noise, the G63's abundant power creates thrust that's incongruous with its brick-like design. See? And now we're braking again.
Unlikely speed really is the best kind of speed, isn't it? Speaking of, just for funsies, let's see how the G-Class handles.
I know it's an off-roader, but Mercedes gave the G-Wagon Sport Plus mode for a reason. Let's see how that goes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes no sense.
Last speed note, Mercedes claims a 0 to 60 mile per hour time of 4.5 seconds for the G63, and about 1 second to that for the G550. With all that out of the way, let's bombard you with vehicle details so it looks like I'm doing my job.
Geländewagen.
Compared to the previous G-Class, which debuted in 1979, this version is 3 inches wider and 2.1 inches longer. It still has external hinges on the doors, and when you close them, they sound like this. Door locks sound like this, and once again, the exhaust sounds like this. Keyless access isn't offered on the G-Class, meaning you have to lock and unlock it by pressing buttons on the fob. Micah does not like. The doors often fail to fully close unless you seriously slam them. Told ya. The name of this paint is Olive Metallic. It comes highly recommended by our video dude, Mike. The spare tire hangs on the rear door. Classic. Open that door, and this is what the cargo area looks like. 19-inch wheels come standard on the G550 and 20s on the G63, but this guy is rocking 22-inch forged AMG cross spokes. Fuel economy is as laughably bad as you'd expect.
Driven normally, the G-Class is a little bit noisy on the freeway, but outward visibility is good. It would make a fine, if absurdly overqualified, daily driver. You can also just sort of sit motionless in traffic. Hey look, a 911.
To be clear, that noise is mostly due to exhaust drone, but avoid pressing the exhaust button, and the persistent freeway hum is tolerable. The reborn G-Class's interior is larger than the original in all dimensions, including a 6-inch bump for rear seat legroom.
For proper perspective, let's put the quintessential 5'10" American male, in the back seat behind my preferred front seating position to see how I fit. Okay, headroom's great, and my knees clear, but based on seating position, I deduced that the previous G-Wagon, if I was sitting in the back seat, my knees would be jammed into the seat back. I'm glad I'm driving the new one. And I'm glad there's flies everywhere. This is great.
Up front, Mercedes' Infotainment Interface remains baffling for newbies, but I do like these touch controls that allow operation of the gauge cluster and infotainment screen without removing your hands from the wheel. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and this sunroof come standard. If you want a G that's as baller on the inside as it is on the outside, you'll want the exclusive interior package. Whoa, that is not cheap. But you will happily pay for it if you want diamond-stitched Nappa leather, ventilated and rapid heating multi-contour front seats, and AMG badging on the floor mats and headrests.
By the way, if your accountant complains, just tell them that I thought the exclusive interior package was a really smart investment.
Both the G63 and G550 use a 9G-tronic 9-speed automatic transmission. And if 9G-tronic isn't a great name for a rapper, I don't know what is. Maybe add Lil to the beginning. The G550 includes 5 different driving modes: slippery, individual, comfort, sport, and sport plus. The G63 adds trail, sand, and rock modes to the equation. Lastly, a quick rundown of the G's safety chops reveal lane departure warning, blind spot warning, automatic emergency braking, and automatic parking abilities.
And if automatic parking doesn't sound like a safety feature, you haven't seen how people park these days. By the way, my foot doesn't have to use the brake pedal or the... I don't trust it. I should have trusted it. Changing gear? Wow. You don't have to use the brake pedal or the gas. You just put yourself right in the parking spot, roughly 2 feet from the curb. Better safe than sorry.
Before shooting this video, I asked people on Kelley Blue Book's Instagram profile whether we should take the G-Class to Beverly Hills or drive it off-road.
Reactions were split, so let's do both. And enough of that, let's head for the hills.
While we're on the road, let me offer some context for the G-Class's off-road story.
It's crazy capable.
Filling that out a touch, the Mercedes G has always been supremely competent off pavement, and that continues here. Built atop a rugged ladder-type frame, the latest G-Class features an independent front suspension, though a 5-link live axle still lives out back. Ground clearance is an ample 9.5 inches. There's a low-range transfer case, and when using that transfer case, the center, rear, and front differentials can each be locked using these switches. Activate low range or any of the differential locks, and the G-Class enters G mode, altering the accelerator, steering, transmission, and available active damper behavior for off-road brilliance. According to Mercedes, fording depth, breakover angle, approach angle, and tilt angles have all improved versus the old G-Class.
Let's put all that capability to the test in a way that ensures zero damage in my continued employment. All right, here's a reasonably controlled hill that probably won't damage the thing. I'm not going to activate any modes. Well, let's just go up it. This is going pretty well, actually. Plenty of power. Even with 2 wheels in the sky, I'm still moving forward. All right, oh, it's pretty easy. So drama-free. Good job, Geländewagen. Clearly there's a ton of capability that I'm leaving on the table here, but again, nobody wants to destroy the 6-figure SUV. Maybe after I get my next raise.
If I wanted to do some serious off-roading in my G-Class, I'd probably swap the 22-inch wheels for a bit more sidewall. Nonetheless, the G is an absolute beast, bursting with off-road potential that will most likely go untapped. Aw, sad G-Class. Alright, what about competitors? What are you talking about? There are no competitors. If you want a Geländewagen, you will buy a Geländewagen. You think Lil 9G-tronic is sensibly cross-shopping military-derived SUVs? Hell no! The OG G is the only G for he.
But just to make sure my KBB overlords don't question my commitment to the job, here are some other vehicles you should consider if you're shopping for a G-Ride.
As stated up front, this is an emotion-driven vehicle. You can cover the same rugged ground for cheaper in a Wrangler Rubicon, You can buy the much faster Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk for much less money, and if you want attention in a Mercedes, the AMG GT Coupe is a comparative bargain. I'll say it again, the Mercedes-Benz G-Class makes no sense.
But before you get all judgy, do you really need a new car? I mean, wouldn't a used Toyota Corolla be more sensible? The fact of the matter is, every car purchase is a balance between reason and emotion. Though some cars do skew towards the radical end of that spectrum.